Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Griffin and I'm a filmmaker based out of Orange County, California. Today, we're on a pretty cool shoot. We're gonna be shooting some off-road content for a particular brand I'm not totally sure if I can talk about yet, but if I can, I'll probably put it on screen right now. We're gonna be using the Bronco camera car, and we are shooting with the brand new MOTOCRANE Radical. So that was purchased by my company and we're really excited to give it a try. And I'm gonna be taking you guys behind the scenes of the commercial, talking a little bit about the process and just a little bit of the raw BTS content, as well as showing some of the arm car footage. So excited, let's get into it. All right, guys, so I want to give you a quick walk around of the brand new Bronco camera car, and I think it's the first ever MOTOCRANE Radical on a Ford Bronco. So come on, I'll show you what we got. So we've got a 2021 Ford Bronco. It's the Badlands Sasquatch edition from the factory, and we did do a few upgrades on it. We put the King 2.5 coilovers. So what that means, if you're not super into off-roading or anything like that, is they're a really plush suspension. So it kind of takes a lot of that road chatter out, which is really great because it helps alleviate a lot of the micro jitters when we're filming. So jumping up top, I had some custom brackets fabricated so I could tie the custom speed rail roof rack to support the brand new MOTOCRANE Radical. And it's actually, it's kind of a nice way that we can film with this. We just pull the top right off. The reason we have to pull the top off is because it's basically, it's effectively like a fiberglass type top from the factory. So it's not strong enough to support the several hundred pounds on the roof with a lot of crazy off-road forces. But I'm hopeful that I could show some of the footage from the shoot. Not totally sure if I can. But what's really great about something like this versus a black arm is the fact that you can get shots from the front of the vehicle, the back of the vehicle, out to the side, and you don't really have to move your black arm around. It allows for a lot more creative freedom, and you're able to get a lot more shots in a short amount of time, which is great when you're always fighting the light. So from an interior perspective, this is the cine milled backseat system. I just got this one. I really like how this setup is. It's super strong and it'll hold these monitors even when we're off-road, and it's got plenty of room for you to route your cables. We've got a 7-inch small HD Cine 7, and then we have the Ronin remote. In this seat, we have the camera operator. So this person controls just where the camera, or rather the gimbal head, is looking. So on this side, this is the first AC seat. So the first AC's job is just make sure everything's tack sharp when we're rolling. So we rigged up this, I think it's a 15.5-inch OC Megamon monitor. And this is one of my favorite monitors because it's really sharp, it has really good color, and it's really accurate. And on top of that, just the size makes it easier when you're pulling focus, especially when you're in an off-road type setting. And then this is Jesse, our first AC for the day. He brought the Teradek RT. This is the focus motor unit that he's running. I typically personally run the Nucleus M, but they're both great options. So jumping to the front, we've got this is basically the boom arm operator seat. So this is the MOTOCRANE Console Pro. Basically gives you, this is for the swing and this is for the lift. So this controls up and down, this is side to side. And this is where all the action for the MOTOCRANE happens. And I would say this is really one of the most critical roles because this protects both the picture car, the car you're filming, and it protects everybody in the camera car from any sort of accidents. You know, we're filming around a lot of trees. This is the person who's going to control where the actual arm is in relation to the vehicle and make sure that everybody is safe while we're operating. So jumping over here, this is the job that I take when we usually go out. Usually I'll be the one driving, partially because I love driving off-road, it's a lot of fun. But secondly, because I do find that it's one of the most important positions in terms of safety as well. Really, the boom operator and the driver are going to constantly be in communication, and we're going to do so with these headsets. So this is really how we communicate, and I say, okay, I'm going to move this way. And also when you're off-road driving, you want to make sure you avoid big potholes, and they call them G-outs. And what that essentially means is where you kind of like, boom, like the vehicle kind of goes into a big dip. And what that'll help you do is avoid too much stress on the roof rack, and that'll help prevent any major failures with your hardware. So if you're not great at math, this is typically a 4-person operation when you want to run a setup like this. When we're running the black arm, generally we can get away with 3. It's going to be your driver, your gimbal operator, and usually a focus puller. And if you really want to run it lean and mean, like I do sometimes, when it's smaller budget shoots, we can run it with 2. Essentially, it's just going to be your precision driver, and the second would be your gimbal head operator. And I'll usually use a C70 and just run whole area autofocus, and I actually find it works really well. But this, it takes it to a whole new level. So 4, just to recap, it's the driver, the boom operator, the focus puller, and the gimbal head operator. They all work in tandem and they're all in constant communication. The way we do it, as I mentioned, I personally love using these SolidComm C1 Pros. Now they did send these out. I've got a dedicated review of these on my channel, but these are really amazing. They've got noise canceling built in and allows for constant communication with all the crew. Pardon our mess because this is a real life shoot. I only have like 5 minutes to shoot this whole video, but this is where we keep the batteries and then the power supply unit. Essentially, these are two big 48-volt batteries, and usually one of these is going to last us all day long. These are directly from MotoCrane. They call them the MotoBat, and it hooks up with a controller point like this to this thing. So this power station powers all of the things in your arm, and there's a couple of things. These cables run all the way up to the arm, and it supplies power to the whole unit. In the back here, we have the base station for our solid comm headsets. One thing I love about this is you can power it off gold mount batteries, NPFs. They also have a V mount option, and this can control your A channel and your B channel. So for example, if you wanted to run your G&E team on one channel and then your camera team on another, that's an option you could do. Or sometimes what we'll do is you might run the drone team on one so they can be in constant communication, and then run the standard camera team on the other. Front of the arm, this is the Ronin 2 stabilizer, and underneath the camera, well, you can't see, it's all wrapped up to keep some of the dust out. Today we're running the Komodo X, and underneath here is my favorite off-road lens, or really any camera car lens. It's the Fujinon 19-90s and a bright tangerine matte box. This is a really cool setup. I really love the 19-90 because it gives you a wide range of zoom. You can go wide angle all the way to tight without having to rebalance the gimbal. So in terms of my real first experience using the brand new Motocrane Radical, I gotta say it's an incredible system. I will say it is not something to be taken lightly. I would not do this myself just freestyling it. It's not the kind of thing, like for example, a black arm, even though it's pretty complex, this has probably 10 to 100 times more intricacies to it. There's fine tuning with all the settings you need to mess with. There's a lot more safety concerns just because you're really swinging something out. And when you're learning, I would highly suggest hiring an experienced boom operator, which is exactly what we did for this shoot. Someone that can really take care of the boom, make sure everybody operates safely. I will say, overall though, assembling the system, hooking it all up, everything works great. Motocrane's a really cool team over there. Everything's built in America, which I really like. Also, secondly, their customer support's outstanding. We did have one issue we were running into, you could say, and we contacted them. It was on a Sunday at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They got back to us ASAP. So got a lot of flies going on here. But they got back to us ASAP and they give us customized support. It's someone that knows the technical stuff. They're like, hey, we'll contact you in 24 to 48 hours. They were like on it, and they're like, hey, respond fast because we're gonna respond fast as well. And we got the issue diagnosed and we're all solid now. So I always love when companies have support, especially for a product like this that has a lot of technical intricacies. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the quick walk around of our brand new Bronco Motocrane Radical setup for filming camera car stuff. It was a lot of fun out here today. I don't know if we can show source footage or not. If we can, we'll definitely show some of it. We're super pumped on it. I will do some more dedicated reviews on some of the technical intricacies of doing camera car stuff, Motocrane, stuff like that. But if you're interested in seeing more stuff like that, camera cars, or any type of behind the scenes content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.